Hey everyone, today we'll be going over start versus awake in Unity. So you've probably seen these two methods sitting next to each other in a lot of scripts. And if you don't understand the difference between the two, you've probably just been throwing everything into start without really thinking about it. But there's actually a very important difference between the two, and mixing them up can cause a pretty common bug that's usually hard and annoying to track down. So here we have our player script. In it, we have an integer, health, and in awake we're setting it to 100. And then over in our enemy script, we have a reference to the player script, as well as a bool called isPlayerWeak that checks if the player is weak or not. And then in awake, we're doing a couple of things. First, we grab a reference to the player using findFirstObjectByType. And then down here, we check if the player's health is less than 25. If it is, isPlayerWeak gets set to true. And then, lastly, we use a debug.log to see the result. So you might think this looks fine, but watch what happens when I hit play in Unity. It looks true, even though we just set health to 100 in the player script, and 100 is certainly not less than 25. So what's going on? Well, here's the thing. Awake doesn't run on all scripts at the exact same time. Sometimes it may run on player first, other times it may run on enemy first. Basically a coin flip. And in this case, enemy's awake method is firing before player's awake method has had a chance to run. And if we look at Unity's official execution order, you can see that awake is the very first thing called, and then start afterwards. So when the enemy script checks the player's health here, the player script hasn't set it to 100 yet. Health is still at its default value of 0, and 0 is less than 25. So isPlayerWeak gets set to true. And that's the bug. It can be hard to track down because Unity won't throw an error since technically there's nothing wrong here. Now, the fix is actually really simple. Anything that references another script's data should go in start, never awake. So we can move this entire chunk of code down into the start method. And because by the time start runs, every single awake method in this scene has already completed. So now, when we check the player's health, it's already been set to 100. So when I hit play in Unity, it logs false, which is correct. So always keep this rule in mind. Awake is for setting up your own script, and start is for referencing and interacting with other scripts. Follow that one rule, and you'll never have to encounter this bug. Thank you for watching.